Welcome to the Switch Sports Golf Lightning Cup. It is round one, and I'm facing the Lobster, is what I'll call him. I'm really good at drawing opponents, and also teammates, who I have to really work around their name in these tournaments and events and such. But this is round one. I am the 4 seed in my region. I'm playing against the Lobster, who's the 13 seed, but everybody is quite good. Everybody's very solid in these matchups. A lot of parity, despite what the seed numbers lend themselves to. And if it looks familiar, it is a familiar format to those who follow United States college basketball. It's a 64-person tournament. Everybody's seeded 1 through 16, and it's kind of a chaotic format that I'll put on the screen as well. But I'll hopefully run through it as we go, and it'll make a bit more sense just as we play. But it's a different format. It's 3 hole rounds, different scoring system as well. But let's just get into it. Let's hit our hole 13 closest to pin here. That's how we determine kind of the first... I got my cat screaming in the background too. That's a good start. Ooh, the Lobster has hit the flag. So we want to put this as close as possible, and we get first selection of course. So this isn't like a huge, impactful thing, but it is nice to be able to get the first choice, and I've launched it backwards with that 7-iron. I think I'll be a bit further away. The Lobster has definitely put it closer. So the Lobster has selected Classic A, so that's holes 10, 11, and 12. So there are 7 3-hole courses in this game, and it can come down to using all 7 of them with the way that this tournament is formatted in each set. So there's sets, there's points. Here is point 1 of set number 1. The Lobster won the, I guess the tip is what I want to call it if we're sticking with basketball terms here. So we're just going to play these 3 holes, and whoever wins it gets the point. If none of us win it, if we tie this, we use the in-game closest to pin, which we don't often do in tournaments, but in this one, that's what we'll be using. So let's try to make some shots in regulation here. We have a good look at hole 10, as is pretty much always the case. 4 miles an hour pushing to the left, and it's not too bad here. Let's see. This is a pin that I kind of like. Let's see if we can do it right. 3.9 or so dots of power. We'll call it that. See if we can get this off to a hot start. Oh, that's way too far left. Okay. Yeah, that'll glide back, and that'll be a tap-in birdie, but wow, okay. That misses by a considerable margin on the first one, just a slight misadjustment. But we'll tap in a birdie. The Lobster has tapped in a birdie as well. And this can get chaotic if we're just tapping in birdies, because then it comes down to closest to pins where anything can happen. So we're going to have to try to make some shots. All right, so just 1 unders after 1 here. We'll move on to hole 11, a nice little par 3. I do like this little 3-hole course. We'll see if we can hopefully make 1 shot. The Lobster can obviously do the same. All right, what are we going to have to work with here on hole 11? It's a little bit of wind. You know, I don't necessarily like seeing 0 wind with these right pins just because I have such a hard time with them, and everybody else seems to make them. So this is kind of okay. We'll take this 4 miles an hour. And I think we'll just want to aim it out to about there, give it the 3-iron. I'm moving towards using the 3-iron here. It's maybe not the best move, but I kind of like it. It's consistent. It rips it back a little less strongly. I mean, it still rips it, but not like the 5-iron does on these pins. Let's just hit the 3-iron. Little less than 3 dots of power. That feels pretty good. If that takes a good little bounce and sneaks around... Oh, it hits the pin. All right, so we'll hit the pin. Close call. The Lobster has a good look, but that might rip back, and it does. That's the problem with these pins on the right side of this hole 11 green, is that there's just not a lot of slope, and there's a lot of speed on the backspin. So you end up hitting a real close shot, but it lips out like 95% of the time. I cut it a little too close to the pin. The Lobster taps in a birdie, and just like that, we're 2 holes in, but nobody has taken a lead. There is 1 hole left, so we're both at 2 under, heading into hole 12. That pretty straightforward, but not necessarily easy, par 5. All right, let's hit this shot here on 12. Anakin, come over here. When I was coming into this, I had that new Strokes song stuck in my head. Listened to it a couple times so far. I kind of like it, getting used to the auto-tune of it. It's new, but now that's been completely replaced with my cat screaming over to the left. So let's try to keep that distraction out of mind. Anakin, come on. All right, I think it's going to come down to a make here. If we make this... I mean, obviously, Lobster can make it too, but... Okay, so Lobster has put it on the green. He'll probably tap in an eagle. So, I mean, Lobster's an extremely solid player. He's not going to make mistakes. I need to make shots in order to beat him. And also kind of counter his makes. He's going to have some makes. That's for sure. I'm going to have to counter them, and that's not going to be a make. That'll be just another tap and eagle. So we've had 3 pretty straightforward putts for the standard scores. So birdie, birdie, eagle is kind of the usual on holes 10 through 12 if you don't make anything. So that's what we'll all get. Nobody hold out anything, but nobody made any mistakes on these more straightforward holes. And we'll move on to a closest to pin. So that's how we'll decide point 1 here. All right, so we're each at 4 under through 3. That is a tie, and we'll move on to the closest to pin. What are we going to be working with? It looks like we're hitting a tee shot on hole 11. So the closest to pin in these 3-hole rounds always gives you one of the holes that you just played, which is pretty cool. So we're not playing anything completely random. You kind of get an idea of what the closest to pin is also going to be when you're selecting your course. So pretty cool in that way. And we'll have to hit a shot here basically from the tee, but a little bit further back on hole 11. Let's go with a 3-iron. I like the 3-iron, especially in this case where I don't necessarily want to rip it back. I'm going to aim this just a touch more than usual to the left, just to make sure that we don't hit the pin and send it sideways or anything like that. So let's just put a little bit more power on this than usual since we're slightly further back. 3-iron is going to be the play. Just a little bit more, or excuse me, a little bit less than 3 dots of power. Now, hopefully that just bounces around. Oh, I hit the pin, and the Lobster's going to take point 1. Oh, I was really trying to avoid that. I thought I put a little bit of extra adjustment on it, but we were just a touch further back as well. And the Lobster will take point 1 on a pin hit, and also a nice shot from him as well to put it pretty close. So I'll be 15 plus feet. He'll be within 15. The Lobster takes point 1. And I'm quickly on upset watch here as the 4 seed against the Lobster. So we'll see if we can come back here. All right, I've chosen Classic C. So that's holes 16, 17, and 18. Oftentimes more chaotic ones. Quite difficult a lot of the time as well. So we'll see if we can get a point back here, even this thing back up, or maybe I'll get in trouble if Lobster takes a 2-0 lead on me. We'll start on hole 16 here with a bit of tougher wind. Not the greatest look here at it, so let's try to play this one safely. All right, here in this case, I just want to play it safe. We'll put this drive out to that left fairway, just hopefully in the fairway somewhere, not in any sort of trouble. A little bit more than 3.5 dots of power is usually pretty good on that drive. It's deceptively not super strong wind when it's 24 miles an hour. It's just a touch above 22, which with that yellow wind color doesn't look so bad. So it's not too bad here. Let's just try our best to hit a good one, see if we can send one back with some spin. Got a little bit of tailwind as well. So a good, decent look here to try to put one close here. Let's send this 9-iron roughly out to there. This looks pretty okay. A little bit less than 3 dots of power should be good. We'll send it on its way. Oh, that got a good little... No, it faked me out, that little camera thing. It does that sometimes on hole 16. That little camera movement where, in this game, when you make a shot, it often does that. So, a little bit of a fake out there. But we put it close enough. We'll tap in a birdie. And this wasn't an easy one. Going out to that left fairway often leaves you with some tougher angles, and Lobster's going to have to tap in a par. So I'll take a quick lead here. And things happen so quickly in this format with just 3 holes. We saw it in the first round, like nothing really happened, and right away it came down to pretty much a 50-50. Had to win the closest to pin to win the point. And, you know, there's only 2 holes left now to hold on to this lead, so getting a lead is huge in this format. Now, obviously, comebacks can and will happen, and we actually have a pretty interesting look here at hole 17. This is a makeable one, if we do it right. 0 wind, that pin... Are we both in the position to make it? I'm not totally sure. We have to give this a super precise adjustment, like to right there, and then just send a full drive. And there's not a lot more to it than that, other than just hoping that we have the correct spot. Now let's see if we do. We're going to take a big bounce up there, roll out, and that looks good. All right, we'll make an ace on 17. We had the spot. It's just a matter of hitting the shot once you have that spot. It's not the most difficult shot to hit, but you have to get a little bit lucky. With tee placement. I'm not sure if Lobster caught a tough bounce off of his tee spot or something there, but he'll have to tap in a birdie. And with these 3-hole rounds, I now have a 2-shot lead and only 1 hole to defend it on. What is hole 18 going to have for us? It looks like we're going to have some lighter tailwind. Okay, not too bad here. Not bad at all. Pretty straightforward pin as well, so we can actually probably put this one right on it. I mean, we can give it a chance at the Albatross and a nice 6 under... on Classic C, which is a pretty good score. Now, it's not automatic. Like, this is somewhat automatic. I mean, you have to get the distance perfect on the second shot to make the albatross with 0 wind. But with 2 miles an hour, it's just not a whole lot different. Let's just try our best to hit the same type of shot, at least put it close. We had that 2-shot lead. No need to take any sort of risks here, but let's try it. We'll just send this out there with about that much power, I'll say a little bit less than 3.5 dots of power on this 3-iron, just to make sure we don't put it through the green or anything. That should just take a nice short little bounce, a little roll up, a roll out. Oh, and we'll smack the pin. So like I said, it was makeable. Just put a little bit too much speed on it, I think, and it seemed to hit center cup, but as long as I can tap this in, we'll secure this point. I think the Lobster tapped in for an eagle as well, so slightly tougher albatross with non-zero wind. Almost pulled it off, but we'll take the point. And there it is. Eagles for both of us. I will take the point, but everything resets, so as quickly as things happen within the rounds, they reset every single point. So it's a whole new game, and it resets like that quite often. All right, Lobster has selected Resort A, so that's holes 1 through 3. Classic A treated him well. Resort A is not all that different. And let's see... Oh, what happened here? Did I freeze? Oh, that was weird. Okay, we're back. We're going to have some wind on hole 1, so... Looks pretty light. Yeah, only 2 miles an hour. So light wind on hole 1. We'll send a drive out there and a good second shot with the 9-iron. And hope that that's good enough to sink one. I mean, you kind of have to make a make. Like we saw in that very first point, neither of us got a make through a little bit of wind on all the holes. And it resulted in a tie, and it resulted in a point for the Lobster on that closest to pin. So we'll try our best here to make this one. It's a chance. There's a chance at this one. Let's aim it to there. Go with the 9-iron. Call it that much power. I think that's pretty good. That'll really send it back there from that non-local mode tee, but that looks like it's on a fairly good line if it bounces and rolls, and there we go. There's a nice one on hole 1. So the more straightforward ones, if you can get the make that is more doable, it's absolutely huge. Now, the fact that they are more straightforward means that Lobster can hit an ace on hole 2 or a nice eagle on hole 3. So we're still going to have to defend here, but there's a good start on hole 1. So we'll take an eagle on the first through some lighter wind. Back pin, that's a little bit tougher, a little bit deceptive sometimes, but I kind of like that one. We'll move on to hole 2. Anakin, are you going to stop screaming? You can come here. You can hang out on the chair like Lizzie does behind me all the time, but she doesn't want that. She just wants to yell at my girlfriend's door while she's in a meeting. Anakin, come here. Come here. Unbelievable. If you can hear her getting louder, she is approaching, but just kind of keeping her distance and yelling at me and now wailing. Come here. Let's see if we can hit some shots with my cat yelling at me. That's a little too far. That's a bit too far. Overcooked it on that wind adjustment. 11 miles an hour. It's pretty strong. It's the strongest you can get on hole 2, but not strong enough to slow that one down. We'll have a good look at tapping in a birdie here, though. Didn't get myself in trouble, just didn't make the shot. And we'll take that 1-shot lead, I believe, into hole 3 with birdies for both of us on that tougher hole 2. So maximum wind, definitely the toughest pin. Very difficult ace, but we'll take that birdie. All right, what are we going to have on hole 3? Looks like some stronger wind as well. So not the easiest seed here. I feel very fortunate. It's only 4 miles an hour, so it's makeable. It is a really tough pin, though. So actually, I don't have a lot of faith that I can make this one for an eagle. A lot of people seem to give this one a better run than me quite often. This is one that I still have to figure out, this back kind of left pin on hole 3. But we'll try our best. We'll send one out there. I have a new strategy I've kind of been working on that has never really worked fully, but I'm trying to hone in on it. So I'm just going to tease what I'm thinking of doing here. I don't know if it's the best move. I haven't totally figured out whether it can actually work or not, but... Oh, did I put it too close? I meant to not put that in the rough. I think I have to keep that a little bit further back. Let's see. Let's see if I have the range. No, I don't on the wedge. Okay, so the wedge isn't going to work. We're going to have to try something else. Oops. Let's just rattle one up there, I guess. See if we can get lucky. Just aim it slightly left. There's not a whole lot more to it than that. And just see if we can bounce one up and in. Light glide spin is what I want to do. Just kick a little left and, yep, just leave it right on the cup. So, really tough make there. We'll see if Lobster can pull it off. And that looks like it's... oh my goodness, it rips back. He must have gone for the more aggressive wedge line. And, you know, you have to get that one real precise for it to fall. This is just a difficult pin on hole 3. If you can make it, it often gives you such an advantage. But we'll take that point on Resort A, thanks to that eagle on hole 1. So the final score of this point is 4 under to 3 under. And I'm now 1 point away from securing set number 1. So it goes to 3 points, and then the set resets. So hopefully we can win the next one and move on to set 2. I've selected Classic B as my second choice. So we alternate, and the courses lock after each point here. So we get a good look here at hole 13, which we started off on. So, Classic B. I always get Resort and Classic mixed up. Classic B is holes 13 through 15. So let's try to give these ones a good run here. We'll aim this one a touch out to the left and hit it with just a touch more power than usual. Let's try that out. This feels pretty good. Just a little bit more than 2 dots flat. Feels like a good shot here. Now, can that roll back left and sink? Oh, it's just not going to make it. It was right on the line and a touch too short. Now, it was 1.6 feet short, so it's not like it was right on it. But it had that line. If I just put a touch more power on it, we'll tap in the birdie. And, you know, close calls in this round where there's only now 2 holes left just don't quite cut it. You got to make it, and if you don't, you got to try to make the next one. Birdies for both of us on hole 13. Slightly deceptive wind. You know, I put a little bit more power on that despite it being really light wind, and it just still didn't quite make it there. So we'll move on to hole 14. What sort of difficulty are we going to have? Such a hit or miss hole in terms of difficulty. You know, it's sometimes a really nice look at an albatross and sometimes a really tough look at an eagle. So we kind of get a mix here. It's not super difficult looking, but we do have to be really careful of this drive to make sure that we put that through the tree gap nicely. Otherwise, we can get in big trouble here. So let's just try our best to put this in that tree gap. I think I've given it a good line. That looks pretty good. Has the lobster made it? Oh no, the lobster's behind a tree. Oh my goodness. You get a little glimpse sometimes as you go through on where people are, but man, what a tough break there. And we'll see if we can send one up there. And I mean, oh man, and he got stuck actually behind a tree, so all he could do was punch out. What a brutal break there. That is just not very nice from the tree gap. That is so hit or miss. That's what makes Resort... Are we Resort? Yeah, we're Resort B. That's what makes this one so just, you know, polarizing. It can be so nice or so mean, and it oftentimes comes down to that one shot on hole 14. So I'll put it in a good position here to send up an eagle. Lobster gave it a good run from that fairway, but probably had to make the albatross because the eagle putt isn't too bad on this pin if you just leave it a little bit short. So I'll make the eagle. Here is oh my goodness. So the lobster's going to tap in a par, and that'll be a 2-point or a 2-stroke advantage heading into the final hole here. So I'll head into hole 15 at 3 under. Lobster's going to be at 1 under. And we'll see if we can secure this set. Now, if we secure the set, once again, things reset. We'll play hole 15 here and see if we can secure the point, which would also secure the set. So 3-1, if I were to get to that, would win the set. It's first to 3. Let's see if we can send one up there. You know, all I really have to do is make the birdie here, so I'm going to play this one super cautiously. Now, there is a safe strategy that I'm going to use that works fairly well. We'll just aim this a little out to the left here. Let it take a little kick to the right, then it kicks a little bit back to the left after that, and hopefully just settles near the pin, if not in the cup. That looks pretty good. Should kick a little bit that way. Yeah, that'll just miss on the left side, but that's a very straightforward birdie putt, which we should be able to send up and in from just 10 feet away. The lobster has sunk the birdie, so all I have to do here is make it within 2 to secure the point. We'll make it in 1, and that will win set 1 for me. So the lobster with a nice first set took the first point, and I won the next 3 after that. We'll move on to set 2, where the points reset back to 0-0. So the final point the final score of point number 4 of set 1 was 4 under to 2 under, and I'll take that one. All right, so I've taken a 1-0 set lead here, and it's first to 2 sets. So if I win this next one, I will win the match. If Lobster ties it back up, we'll go to a 3rd set. But because I didn't have the first pick of courses in the first one, because Lobster won that hole 13 closest to pin, I get first pick here, and I've chosen Resort B, which is holes 4 through 6. So I've gone for some slightly more difficult ones here, at least, you know, as the 9 progresses, the greens get tougher, the wind can get stronger, and that's been my strategy so far. So let's see if we can keep it rolling. Tough look here, actually. This is a really tough pin, and some pretty strong winds, some strong crosswinds on hole 4. Just want to put this one close. Not a great look at trying to pick up a lead here, but let's just try our best. We'll send it out to about there. That looks pretty good for the aim. And then we'll give it roughly that much power. That feels pretty good. That should take a little bounce up there. And hey, you never know if that rolls back. Oh my goodness, that is so lucky. That's ridiculous. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the fringe. But it takes a huge bounce off of it through all that wind. Oh my goodness. Anakin, my cat, is getting herself into some serious trouble. What was that? Anyway, that was lucky. All right, we'll move on. So I'll take a lucky lead in this first point here. Pretty ridiculous ace there, but sometimes you send it out there with a good guess and it finds the cup. Can't say that that was the most, you know, precision shot, but sometimes it happens and you take it. All right, we'll move on to hole 5. Nice par 5 here, and we'll have a little bit of wind in the face and a slightly tougher pin, so
Nice shot.
this is one that we'll probably just want to play pretty safe. Don't want to rip the wedge back with some spin like you can on this pin sometimes. You're just a little bit too far back for that wedge to work, so I'm thinking ahead, first of all, but I'm thinking that 9-iron is going to be the play once we actually get up there. There's a couple ways to go about this one, but I'm just going to play it the way that I like to, the way that I think is pretty safe. And it still gives it a look. It just hopefully will get a nice little light rollback. Just kicks to the right with that 9-iron, or maybe even 7-iron with this little bit of, I mean, 6 miles an hour over 2 full drives. Puts you a little bit further back. Okay, so 9-iron should work. Should be a solid look at it. We just have to aim this a touch out to the left. Not too far, but also got to make sure we get it around the pin. Don't want to smack that pin. Oh, the Lobster's made it. My goodness, what a shot. So I make a nice, lucky one there. The Lobster comes right back and sinks his own. Oh my goodness, I put that so far out to the left. And, you know, it didn't kick right like it often does, so it looked a lot worse than it actually was. But that was a miss. So the Lobster ties it back up with a beautiful chip in on hole 5 on a difficult one. This is not an easy one. We've hit a difficult one each in this first point of set 2, so the fireworks have begun. Nice ace for me on the first, and a nice comeback chip in on hole 5 for the Lobster. And this one is back even, so with 1 hole to play, we're back to tied. 3 under each, and it's just hole 6. Such a difficult hole left to play. And here comes that difficulty on hole 6, maximum crosswind. And tough pin to deal with as well. Front right, you know, for this crosswind, that's a pretty difficult one. In general, this one's not too bad, but for this exact condition, not necessarily what you want to see. Let's try to keep ourselves out of trouble here. Now, hopefully that just... Oh, that's not even close. That's not even close. That didn't get pushed even close to how far right I wanted it to be. So we might be in a little bit of trouble here. We're going to have to save a birdie, maybe with a little bit of curve against the wind. I've left myself in a tough spot here. Not the most precision play from me. And I'm thinking, despite it being a maybe not the best option, not the best look, we might just have to try to hit a little curve shot through the trees, around the trees. That's not even close. I didn't have much of an option other than that, though. So we'll just put it in a spot where we can not have to deal with a whole lot of crosswind. Oh, I haven't done a great job of it, and the Lobsters put it right on the cup. Oh my goodness, what a terrible drive that has left me in a tough position here. Now we don't... it actually doesn't matter, this is the last hole. I was going to say, don't want to get too risky, but we actually can get risky, because if I miss this and I miss the putt, it actually doesn't really matter. So, got to try to hole this somehow. Let's see if we can pull it off. This would be ridiculously lucky. And I will just miss it. Oh, I gave it a run. I wasn't sure. I don't think I've ever chipped from there before with that wind. But the Lobster will take point 1 for the second set in a row, and I'll be battling from behind. I'll tap it in, but it doesn't matter. The Lobster has taken the point, and he now has choice of the course. So the Lobster with a nice birdie there on a very difficult hole 6. I saw you put that real close. Pretty much a tap-in. And my ridiculous chip almost sunk. But my luck ran out after I used it all on hole 4. Alright, so the Lobster has selected Classic A as his choice of course. Once again, so we're playing it again. And it boded well for him first time around. If that happens again, he will take a 2-0 lead in set 2. So I'm going to have to try to do better this time around. See if I can win it outright. Otherwise, closest to pins for those of you who watched the kind of hints at this format, the little exhibition matches. Historically, I'm not the greatest at closest to pins. So I'm going to try not to get there. But I also definitely have to work on that. So the problem is if it comes down to a bunch of closest to pins and I don't make them. This is a one and done. This is a one and done tournament. So gotta make them if I want to stick around in this thing. 2 miles an hour. I think we just have to aim right at this one. A little bit less than the usual power. We'll give it a run with about that much power. Let's see if that's good. Is it gonna make it? Oh, not quite. Okay. Really tough back pin here. If the Lobster makes it, it's, you know, light wind. Some people have good strategies for this one. I have one that's fairly consistent. But, you know, the wind directionality and the power is just a little bit tough. So let's see. Oh, the Lobster has left it a little bit short. He'll have to tap in a birdie, but no harm there for him. So it's tap in birdies for both of us. We'll each be at 1 under after a light wind opportunity, but a tough pin. So can't be too mad about the birdie there. And we'll move on to hole 11. All right, what do we have this time around on hole 11? Is this a 0 wind back left pin situation? It is. Okay, there's a way to go about this one that we're going to have to try our best to make happen here. So we have to aim this a touch out to the right. Right about there. Should be good. We'll give that a run, and now we have to just put it right in the middle of that third dot on the 5-iron. That's the look at this one. I think I've made it happen. Now we just have to get the good bounce. Are we both going to make aces in sync? Oh, get up there and fall. Oh my goodness. Lobster. The Lobster. We were right on. How does that not fall? We were right next to each other the whole time. And his just veered off left towards the end there. That is an undeserved lead that I have just taken. We both hit the same shot, clearly. But, you know, here's another chance. An albatross look here on hole 12. If you make the albatross, you can come back a bit. So I'm going to probably have to make this albatross. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll hit a good 2 shots and just hope for the best. But this is one that I'm pretty sure is a fairly known albatross situation. So we'll hit the shot. It's pretty precise. You have to get the power perfect, and there isn't like the best landmark on the power meter to aim for. You just have to get it right. There's no getting around that. And let's see if we can pull it off. Right about there. Should be about it, I think. Let's see. I think I've given that a good run. If that just takes a little bounce short. Oh, that's too far. That's way too far. Yeah, that's not going to be it, and the Lobster's made it. He's made it. Wow, what a shot for the albatross. I kind of knew that I had to make that one, and I just slightly overpowered it. You know, my power looked pretty good. I saw that Lobster ended up a little bit behind me. And he'll make the albatross and force the closest to pin, so I'll tap in an eagle, which you think would be enough in golf to win the point. But the albatross ties it back up, and we'll go to a closest to pin here that could be any one of holes 10, 11, or 12. So after a real unfortunate break, I mean, that should have been the game for the Lobster there, but we're both at 5 under. Solid scores on Classic A. We'll move on to the closest to pin to determine point number 2 of set number 2. What is it going to be this time around? Can I win a closest to pin, which I have had so much trouble doing? We're going to deal with a chip here, just a little chip on this closest to pin. All right, and it's aimed us way off to the right to start, so got to think about this one a little bit. We probably have to make this. This is definitely a look at a make. We'll aim it out to about there. We'll give it about that much power. The Lobster sent it on its way, and he's sunk it. The Lobster has made it. Let's see if we can match that shot. That looks too much. Oh, and I hit the pin for my second closest to pin in a row. Oh my goodness. He one bounces it in. Was that slightly downhill? That's part of my problem with closest to pins. I never really play them. And you get consistent ones, but they're not shots that you ever actually hit. So the elevation changes are just a little bit much. And the Lobster has sunk it to take point number 2. And he'll go up 2-0 in this second set. I've selected the special holes. We have to mix it up. I'm down 2-0. I have to throw some chaos in there, some extreme difficulty. We're playing the specials. Holes 19, 20, and 21. The 3 super difficult par 4s in this game that can have any level of wind. Let's see what happens here. This is a high-risk, unknown reward strategy, so we'll try our best to send a couple good shots out there. That's all we can do. And this is an immediate, real tough look at hole 19. Let's just send this spoon out there. Now that should move a good ways left and hopefully just kind of settle towards the end little notch of that fairway. And I've done a pretty good job of what I wanted to do. Okay, we're in a pretty good spot here. We should have a little bit of a tree gap to work with. Now we'll have to aim this. Have I given myself enough of a tree gap? I'm going to say that this is pretty okay. Let's aim it out to there. Now, how do I want to handle this spin or no spin? I'm thinking we go for spin and just try to maybe launch it up there. Let's see. Not totally sure. Really tough look. But full 3-iron's my play. I send it... Oh, did I clip the tree? I may have clipped the tree. Oh, wait. No, that had way too much spin to actually clip the tree. So we're both hitting some real difficult shots here. The Lobster has sent one down... and made it! Oh my goodness, what a shot on that chip from the Lobster. My goodness, what a ridiculous chip. And like I said in the early going, the level of players throughout this tournament is, like, there's a lot of parity. Like, people in this are really good. 13 seed almost means nothing. There's going to be a lot of chaos. I haven't missed this yet, though, so let's see if I can send one down and get lucky with it. Oh, that looks so good. Get in! Oh! And you know, that happened to Lobster last time around. He just missed one that looked so good the whole way. And then came back and won it, so got to put that behind us. I'll go down here. So Lobster's up 2-0 on the points and takes a lead in the specials. I'm not sure if I clipped that tree or if I just misplayed that one. It was a really difficult hole 19, and Lobster chips it in for the birdie, a ridiculous birdie, to take the lead. We got 2 holes to play, but they're 2 extremely difficult ones. Let's see if we can pull something off here. Here is hole 20. Looking not so bad as far as hole 20 goes. Fairly straightforward. And you know, this almost isn't what I want to see in terms of the competition part of this tournament. Like, you know, you like seeing good wind conditions, and I'm not rooting for Lobster's downfall necessarily. But I do need some difficulty to try to come back here. If we're just tapping in birdies, which when you get light winds on the special holes, often kind of just happens, it means that you can't really come back. So let's see if we can make one here. Kind of lighter wind, just pushing kind of straight ahead. Let's see. Let's give it a run. Hopefully that takes a little bounce short and just trickles back. Oh, I've left it a little bit too far off to the left. Okay, we're 7 feet away. The Lobster has tapped in a birdie. And I've got a birdie look that's, I mean, scary, but short. And as far as hole 20 goes, not too bad. We'll tap it, we'll sink it. And I now have one hole, hole 21, to try to come back. Otherwise, Lobster wins set 2, 3-0. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. We haven't lost yet. Let's see if we can pull something off on hole 21. All right, so I'm down 1 here. 1 hole to play to see if I can make this set 2 competitive. Light wind. Probably has to be a make. 13 miles an hour, actually, not like super light, but it's a fairly straightforward pin. And, you know, one that's probably still going to be fairly easy to birdie, even if you miss it. So, a little bit of curve on my drive by accident. That's not a huge deal. And ending up in the rough here is also not a huge deal. As long as you're not in bunkers, this is totally fine. And you know, with the look at this one, I may want to club up anyway. That's typically what I like to do here. And just try to, let's see, just bounce one down there. Probably has to be about 2.3 maybe dots of power. Let's see, right about there feels pretty good. Let's give it a shot. Bounce one down, at least put it close, and maybe we'll get lucky with a make. Oh, I clipped. How did that clip the bunker? That looked like it hit like purely grass. But that's the way it goes in this game. Sometimes things are deceptive looking. Alright, so the comeback is not going to happen. Doesn't actually really matter because I didn't make the shot and the Lobster made the birdie. So the Lobster's going to take set 2. Straight. Oh, and there we go. Nice chip in to finish that one to only be 1 shot back. So we'll chip in the birdie. That may have given him a scare with the chip in, but he has won the point. I did not chip in for the eagle. And that'll be 3-0 for the Lobster in set 2. We'll move on to set 3. Try to lock back in. Things reset. 0-0 ball game. We are tied with 1 set to play. And in this first point of set 3, the Lobster gets first choice, and he'll go with his trusty classic A. That's been his first choice in all of them. Perhaps he's been practicing it. Let's see if I can win it for the first time. I've lost it twice, and I'm going to have to really think about my course selections as well. But let's see if we can win this one. Lock in a bit. And my strategy here on this one is to leave it purposely a little bit short. Now, the reason for this is to try to get a little bit of extra spin on this shot by making it a further one. So I want to leave this 9-iron. I mean, it's within 9-iron range, but not super far up so we can put more power on it and give it a good look with the spin that way. So a little bit more power on the spin. Probably have to hit it like that much anyway. Now, this does kick a little bit left, and I have to be careful of that to avoid smacking the pin. But let's try it out to about there. Hit it with roughly that much power, like 3.3 or so. Dots of power with some spin. Now that should take a little kick left. Roll back. Oh, and I've just missed it. Just a little over adjustment. And I've left the door open. The Lobster has not hit yet. It's a tough one, but it's makeable. And if the Lobster makes this, he will be in position with a lead in the final set of this game. Where has he put it? Oh, he's just put it short. Okay, he might have spun that back short as well. So, tough look there to try to make that one. I gave it a good look, just maybe slightly underpowered, and I got a little too careful with trying to avoid the pin and actually just missed the cup entirely. 2 holes to play, 11 and 12 for the 3rd time in this match. We'll see if I can sink one of them and then not have Lobster sink the next one, if it comes down to that, and try to win this point. What do we have on this one? Front pin, the local pin. It looks like some stronger wind. 6 miles an hour, not too bad on the wind strength there. Now we just have to give this a good look, just a good shot. Land it left of the cup, it should roll a little bit back to the right with some spin. I think about there has to be my aim point. And now we just have to get the power right. So a little bit more power than I'm used to with local mode, but the pins are slightly further back here, the tees are slightly further back here. That feels like a good shot. Hopefully it is. That's going to move a little too far, though. Now it's going to have to really move back down to the right, and it's not. Oh, I just missed it. Okay. Another little tap-in birdie here. The Lobster put it real close as well, but neither of us made it, which means that we're just tapping in birdies. The game, or the point, remains tied, and we have 1 hole left. Hole 12 once again for this first point. Just birdies. 2 tougher wind conditions to try to make some shots on. Gave it a good run on both of them, but both of them just missed. And when they just miss, it means you don't take a lead. All right, what do we have here on hole 12? Is this headwind? It is 9 miles an hour of headwind. This is a really difficult look, actually, at hole 12. This is one that I want to just make the eagle. I've tried so many times to give this a good look at like a close call, or like trying to find a way to make the albatross, and we've seen Hunter do it. I played against Hunter in, I think it was in the World Cup when he made this type of shot. Like, ridiculous front pin, wind in the face, super, super long shot, and he managed to sink it somehow. That's not what I'm going for here. I'm just going to put this one as close as possible on the green somewhere. Whether it's 30 feet away, like more towards the back, is kind of totally fine. That's just going to take a big bounce up and over. Can't put spin on the spoon. That's exactly where I want to be. You know, playing that one safe. Big old bounce. Oh, the Lobster's left it short in the bunker, and that is where my trouble has come in trying to figure out how to make this shot. Can he sink it? Oh, he's just left it on my right, his left side, and I now have a pretty straightforward putt to tap down there and take point number 1. Oh, it came down to a difficult hole 12, but that's how I'll have to secure the first one, and my goodness, he put that right on the cup. You can't do it a whole lot better than that. And that'll be the first point for me, and it feels like thievery to take that one. I've selected my trusty Classic C, so the Lobster's gone with Classic A every time. Classic C worked out for me in the first one, and part of this format is that you get to pick and choose what courses you play. Not often is that involved in this, but it is something to think about. It's definitely something that has an impact on these games. And ooh, okay, a tough, interesting condition here to try to figure out on hole 16. We can make this through the shortcut. Now, it doesn't necessarily get easier after that, but we can make this carefully with full power. Just have to make sure we don't end up behind the trunk or anything, and we're good. Okay, that's exactly where you have to put it. And now we have a chance to send one up there with the wedge. I think the wedge will work. Will the wedge work? Will the wedge work? I don't know. The Lobster has put it on the green. So I have a chance here to chip this up and in and steal a point. Or steal a lead in this one. Let's go for like that much power and just be safe. You know, if we miss, we don't want to miss by a lot. Just give it a run by the pin. That should kick a little left and get some rollout. Oh, it just kicks way too far left. Okay. So that one was deceptive. Often when you're hitting that with a wedge, you can land it on the flat spot where it doesn't kick to the left at all. But when it kicks left, it really kicks left, and we'll just have to tap in the birdie. So a tough hole 16, but I selected that. I mean, I selected probably the 3 hardest non-special holes in this game. 16, 17, and 18. We'll move on to 17. Such an evil hole. Why would I choose it? I don't know, but that's where we are. We will now play the hole that seemingly only I have ever opted to play. Hole 17. Evil uphill par 5. And it's doing evil things right now. 26 miles an hour in the face. Now what we have to do here is just put this out to the left intentionally. So we can't reach this green, but we can set ourselves up for the chip, and the Lobster's done that pretty well. So he's off on the left. I'm a bit further back. I think I'm a little bit more left, though. So let's see if we have a good line. Oh, I've left it just about perfect. Oh, perfect. Okay, just purely upwind here. Maybe a touch to the left on it. Oh, the Lobster's just missed it. Oh my goodness, what a close call. And a tough angle. If you don't get the perfect upwind angle, it is such a difficult shot to make. You have to get the right angle here. I've done a pretty good job of it. Let's see if I can finish the job and sink the chip from a little ways away. Up and in it goes. I'll make the chip. And that one feels good. Heading into hole 18, I have a 1-shot lead. All right, so a tough hole 17 that we both, you know, went for the right look. I just ended up with, whether it comes down to luck, you know, the right angle on that chip that made it pretty straightforward. Anyway, we'll move on to hole 18 here, and look at this one. Is this makeable for that left island? I think it is. I don't think we're in trouble here if we go for it. So let's send it off to that left island. I think Lobster may have been waiting for me to hit. I'm very confident that this makes it. I just had to make absolute mental sure for a quick second that we could fly that all the way there. It makes it. 2, 3 over, call it. And then just a little touch more is what I usually like to do. Right about there. Feels like a pretty good shot. Let's send that on its way. 3 iron, 3.6 or so dots of power. Maybe a little bit more than that. Just to send this up there. Kind of the same as last time. Just want to put this on the line if possible. Ooh, I left it a little more right than last time, but once again, it's not too far from the cup. That's a pretty straightforward eagle from just under 10 feet away. And if I can sink this, we're looking pretty good in this match. Now, obviously, the Lobster beat me 3-0 in set 2. Ooh, okay. Barely made that one. Not barely, but, you know, scared me a little bit. So 2-0 is obviously not safe. I cannot let my guard down. We must keep playing strong. The Lobster has choice of course here, so it's up to him in this third point to see what happens. But I'll take point 2, and an important point 2, in this third set. 4 under to 3 under. The Lobster has opted for chaos, choosing the special course. Holes 19, 20, and 21 down 2-0. It worked very well for him in the first round, or there's the second point, I should say, first time around. Let's see if it works for him as well here, or if I can play it a little bit better. I don't dislike the special holes. I think they're pretty fun. But it didn't work very well for me last time. Let's try our best to do a little bit better this time around. Nicer look here. Better wind direction. The first wind direction on hole 19 in that second set was very difficult. This one is definitely better. We can go around the trees in a more natural way. And it's a tough pin, as they all are on hole 19, but not the toughest, you know. Difficult for the game, but not difficult necessarily for hole 19. We do have to worry a little bit about launching this. Let's just try not to do that. Let's just try to send a good shot up there. Aimed to about there, I'll say. That looks pretty decent. Full 3-iron is going to be my play. Now, hopefully that doesn't hit the fringe. That's my worry. It's not going to hit the fringe, but it's not going to be the greatest. Okay, we've left ourselves a bit of work. Now, it's really tough to put that one close without, like, tailwind or anything like that. Now, have I given myself an okay angle? It doesn't look too bad. It maybe breaks slightly left at first, but then definitely back to the right at the end. So we'll aim it out to about there. That feels about right. Oh, did the lobster sink it? He did. It trickles in for him. And I'll have a look to try to match that from... Oh, and I lip it. Oh, my goodness, I lip it out. That broke to the left at the start a lot more than I thought it would. Deceptive little double breaker there. And I'll have to tap in. So the lobster made a more difficult putt than I had from, you know, up and over that mound. I kind of just went up that mound and slightly right at the end. Maybe a little bit too much power on it. But it's tough to control with those uphill shots. So not a good look on my first hole of the specials here. But we've got 2 left, like last time around. And I should note, if this gets to 2-2, this third set, and this third set only, you know, if it came down to this in the first 2 sets, it wouldn't have mattered. But it must be won by 2 points. So if it comes back to 2-2 and then one of us wins that third one, that's not the match. You must win this by 2. And if it gets to 3-3, that's when some fun rules come into play. And we end up playing the unplayed course as a playoff. Like, you know, just until someone takes a lead. So let's hopefully close this match out before it comes down to that. But the Lobster's put himself in position here in this one so far to at least steal 1 point back. I'll clip that one off the rocks. I tend to do that. Don't really mean to, but it works out okay. And we'll have a very similar look to last time here, just slightly different wind. Same pin as the first time around. And let's see if we can get a different result, though. Right about there is going to be my aim point, I think. That feels pretty decent. Now let's just try to do a little bit better than we did last time. Just land it in a better spot. Let it zip back a bit better. That looks okay, but not great. Yeah, that's just going to kind of... Ooh, zip back in a scary way. Hold the green. All right, it holds the green. But that's the problem with this one, is there's that huge ridge. And if you miss to the side, you end up giving yourself a huge little side hill putt. So this one is a very important one for me to try to stay within shouting distance here. The Lobster has sunk it. I've sunk it as well. So 2 nice putts there. I'm not exactly sure where Lobster ended up, but these greens are very difficult to putt on. And he has been making some nice birdies. Nice chip in that first special run. And he's up 1 here. So 2 under to 1 under. And it's really tough to come back. You kind of have to rely on a mistake to come back. You know, birdies aren't the most difficult, but eagles are quite difficult. So, and especially on this hole 21. Depending on the pin we get. Yeah, this is not too bad of a pin. This is a pin that's not super hard to putt to. Not always the case. Some of them are. But this one's not too bad. It's a tough wind condition, though, so that's going to come into play. 33 miles an hour. Got to aim this way out to the right. Now that's going to fly all the way back. Now, at a certain point, it looks like it straightens out for some reason, like right there. And then, obviously, it takes a huge kick back to the left, but it just seems to straighten out once you aim it way too far. So you'd think the wind would keep the same effect as it goes. Seems to vary a little bit as it flies. Regardless, we've put it in a spot here to give it a chance. I mean, hopefully just put it close. But it's in a spot where no matter where you end up, it's kind of an okay putt. So let's try our best to put this one pretty close. Give it a run. You never know. Right about there feels decent-ish. That looks pretty good. If it takes a big bite, it's going to bite in the wrong direction, though. Oh, I might end up in the fringe. No, I don't. Okay, it just kind of stays parallel, if you can call it parallel when it's curving, with that fringe. Ends up in an okay spot. The Lobster has sunk the birdie, and that'll secure the point, so it doesn't matter what I do from here. The Lobster takes a point in set 3. 3 nice putts. 3 difficult holes. I missed one of them, and for that reason, the Lobster wins the point. And there it is. 3 under to 2 under. 3 birdies on 3 difficult holes. 1 par for me. I have selected Resort A here. So holes 1, 2, and 3 again. It worked pretty well for me the first time around. I do like these holes. They're pretty straightforward. Eagle opportunities and an ace opportunity on hole 2 pretty much every single time, with a couple of exceptions. We saw one of them on hole 2, which was a pretty difficult ace, but usually pretty doable.
Nice shot.
Now the problem is if we catch some tougher conditions, like this one, hole 9 here, not the easiest, or excuse me, hole 1, 9 miles an hour, not the easiest with this back right pin. And it's going to take an eagle to get a lead. You know, it's a very flat green. If you miss, you usually don't miss by much on these ones. Let's aim this one out to there. Call it... It's a flat shot, so we'll call it about 9 iron, 3.2 or so dots of power, maybe like 3.3. Right about there feels decent. Let's give it a run. Oh, the Lobster's made it. The Lobster has made it on hole 1. 9 miles an hour of diagonal wind, and he sinks it. I miss it by a pretty wide margin. Off to the left there. It's a tap-in birdie. And just like that, the Lobster takes a lead in this 4th point of set 3. So I go off to a quick 2-0, and the Lobster has made it a game again. So it's 2 under quickly for the Lobster. I'm 1 shot back at 1 under. You know, not a bad miss there, but a great make from Lobster. We'll move on to hole 2. All right. Hole 2 is going to have 4 mile-an-hour winds pushing kind of straight ahead here. Just probably have to aim this right at it, actually. And then give it that much power, roughly. It's a little bit of a guess. Probably want to do a little bit more than what I was initially going for. Right about there looks pretty good. Let's give that a shot. Actually, slightly more to the right. That's what I'm going for. Right about there. I think I've given that a good look. Let's see where it ends up. That's going to take a good-looking... Oh, and it hits the flag. Oh, if that just sneaks around it, which it came so close to doing. It took such an extreme angle off the pin. But it has to sneak around it. And I've just had some tough luck with these pins in this round, you know. Couple of tough breaks, but it's gone both ways. You know, we both had tough breaks. Can't say that it's all been one or the other. And there's a big one there. That would have tied the match back up if I just snuck it another inch to the right. And also, you know, it has to roll back and fall. But it was on the line that I like to make that happen. Wasn't perfect, and thus it is a birdie. And the Lobster holds the lead with 1 hole to play. 11 mile an hour winds. Kind of a tough little pin for this wind condition. You know, it's not bad in general, but with this wind, I may want to try to put this on the green and then putt it. Let's see. Let's aim it out to there. Up and over that tree is where we'll go with the drive. The Lobster's gone for a very similar line. Mine's going to be a little more left. His is going to be safe, though. He'll be totally safe. And we'll both be down in this little ravine of the fairway. Now, can I reach the green here? Is it worth it to try to reach the green here? I just don't quite know. Let's see. I mean, the chip is not all that bad. The chip is totally fine if that's what we end up with. And you know, if we leave it short, that's what we'll end up with anyway. So let's just hit that shot with all that in mind. Just kind of fade it a little bit underneath there. That's not going to reach the green. That is going to... Oh, it's going to launch. And that's fine. I mean, that's the angle that we probably would have had anyway. And now we just have a little bit more of an angle on this chip to worry about. So let's aim it roughly there. If the Lobster makes this, that's it. Okay, so the door is open. If I can sink this to send this to a closest to pin and maybe win the match. Let's really think about this one. Right about there looks decent. 20 yards to go. Right about there feels about right. Let's give it a run. A look, a chance at going up and leaving it short with all that tailwind. Wow, okay. So the Lobster wins the point. We are 2-2, so the next point does not win. One of us must win 2 points, otherwise it goes to the final course for a sudden death playoff. And there it is, the Lobster with that beautiful eagle on hole 1. I just couldn't get any of the shots to fall, and Lobster takes the point. It is now 2-2 in set 3. All right, we are now in the tiebreak scenario, so I must win, or one of us must win 2 points in a row to win this match outright. If we go 1-1 from here, we then go to the final course for the playoff. We're not there yet, but we're approaching it. Let's see if I can win this one, put myself in a good spot. If I can win 2 in a row, that will be the match, but we have to win 2 in a row. All right, 13 miles an hour is what we have to deal with here. In the face, front pin, not too bad on hole 4. Let's aim this to where I have it. That looks pretty good. And we'll give it 3.5 or so dots of power. That feels like a pretty good shot. We'll give it a run. See if we can put some close. Oh, that's off. That's way off. All right, it's a tap-in birdie. Lobster has, it looks like, somewhat of a tap-in birdie as well.
Nice approach.
Man, I really misread that one. I was hemming and hawing on my adjustment, and I ended up going for a little bit more, and clearly that wasn't it. So it's just birdies for both of us. No harm there. That would have been a really tough one to make, but now that this match is coming down to it, I really want to try to give every single shot as much of a chance as I can. Not that I haven't been doing that, but it really comes down to focus now. 1-1, through 1 for both of us. 2 holes to play. Tough looking wind on hole 5. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, only 2 miles an hour. It's that back pin, though, so kind of a tough one. Lobster made it last time around, so I have to be real careful of that. We can maybe give this one a run.
Nice shot.
With the wedge, we'll see where we end up. It's a tough eagle either way, whether we can go for the wedge or not. And it's risky when you go for the wedge. You know, if you miss it and you don't catch the cup or anything like that, you can fly back down that hill. So we'll have to really think about that once we're up there. What strategy feels like it makes the most sense. Whether we want to play it safe and likely not make the shot,
Nice shot.
but give it a good look at the birdie, or if we want to play more aggressively. Now, if we clip the rough, that decides it. Okay, so we lost a bit of distance by clipping the rough there. Not the worst thing. I think we were trending towards being about 50 yards away anyway. And with the wedge, that's just not close enough. So we'll go for that 9-iron. Give it a better run, hopefully, than last time. Right about there feels about good. Let's see if we can send one up and around the pin with some spin. The Lobster has, it looks like, trickled it back down the hill a little bit. So let's see if we can send one up fairly close. Maybe get it to bounce around and roll back a little. Nah, not quite. Okay. Tap in. Being behind the pin and gliding to a stop back there is totally fine. The Lobster has sunk it for the birdie. A nice little putt, and that's a tough putt from down there. A little scary one, especially at this point in the match. But we now just have hole 6 left to decide this point. 2 under to 2 under. Not great looks at trying to get leads with eagles and aces and stuff like that, but it's just birdies, just holding the line. And here is hole 6, the final hole of this Resort B. Back pin, not too bad of a look here. Ooh, 13 miles an hour is a little bit strong, but not terrible. Let's go for a better shot than last time, that's for sure, off this drive. We'll aim it to like there. We'll hit it with about that much power. And that should be in a better spot, definitely, than we were last time around. So that'll be about perfect. Right towards the end of that fairway, just short of that rough. Can't ask for a better drive than that. So that gives us a nice little alley through those trees to work with. And let's go for the 5-iron. What's our distance on this one? 160? Okay, so we have to hit this one a little bit harder. Let's give it a run. You never know. Just a little bit more adjustment is what I'm going for here.
Nice shot.
That feels like a good shot. And it's going to miss on the right side. And hopefully just kind of hold the green, roll back to a spot where it's a straightforward putt. Now, the Lobster's made the birdie. So if I sink this, and it's hole 6, you never know. But if I sink this, which is, I've given myself a pretty good angle, fairly straightforward, we go to the closest to pin. I've sunk it. It's closest to pin time.
Nice birdie.
And there it is, 3 under to 3 under. All birdies, really tough holes to make eagles on. So we're moving to the closest to pin. Nobody can make a lucky shot. And this is going to decide a huge point in this match. Okay, we have a tough little closest to pin here. What are we dealing with? Oh my goodness, 22 miles an hour of wind. And a difficult one, that's for sure. Let's give this a good aim out to the left. Gotta put this one close. Right about... a little bit more than 3 dots of power is what I want to go for. Big bounce, hopefully. Little glide spin. I don't know. Let's see. That's the shot I wanted. It looks pretty decent. Now, if it just glides to a stop, I think I've won it. I think. I'm not totally sure. 17.62 feet. A little bit closer. I mean, it wasn't great, but was it good enough? Was it good enough? It was. By under 3 feet, I will take the point. Wow. This format, coming down to these closest to pins that are sometimes quite difficult like that, is so ridiculous. Oh, what a weird way to win a point. But that'll give me a huge, huge point in this match. If I win the next one, that'll be the match. But I now have the advantage. All right. And here is this huge point in this match. If I win this point, I will win the match and escape upset watch. If I don't, it will go to a complete playoff. So the first person to take a lead in Resort C, so the remaining unselected course, would be the winner if I don't win this point. Let's try not to think about that. Let's just try to make some shots here. All right, 9 miles an hour is what we're dealing with on this first one. Middle pin. Let's get this huge point started. Okay, let's go with the spoon and a little bit of extra power on it. Right about there looks pretty good, I think. We'll aim it to roughly there. And see if we can steal a huge one in the early going. That feels like a good shot. If it takes a big bounce... Oh, it's just not quite going to make it. All right. Close call. I guess not super close, but tap in birdie. Lobster has made a birdie as well. Holes 13 through 15 is what I've chosen here in this huge point. We'll send it up there. We'll sink it. 2 holes left to try to win this match. So 1 under for both of us. Hole 14 coming up. Sometimes so straightforward, sometimes so difficult. It comes down to the random number generator of the game to see what hole 14 we're going to end up with here. And it looks like it's a 0 wind. No, it's not 0 wind. But it's not bad wind at all. Not bad. 11 miles an hour and a front little pin. Okay. Let's see. Let's aim this out to there. And I'm going to hit this in the way where we just put it through the tree and drop it down. Usually pretty safe if you just catch that big part of the tree. Oh, it's a little too far left. Let's see. Okay, I end up safe. Totally fine. 95% of the time that ends up totally okay. The Lobsters ended up all the way across the fairway somehow. He must have snuck it through all the trees. Anyway, we have a decent look here from a good spot, a good angle. 163 yards. 3 iron with some spin is going to be my play. 3.5 dots of power. Maybe a little bit more. 3.6 or so. Let's try it.
Nice shot.
There's my shot. On its way. Looking okay. Oh, that looks so good if it just sneaks back. Oh, just missing on the left side. And really zipping back, though, so it didn't have much of a chance, even though it looked pretty close. Whole lot of speed on that one. That has to really catch center cup to actually fall. So the Lobster's made an eagle. And if I tap mine up and make it, it'll be eagles for both of us. And 1 hole left to see if one of us can take a lead. Hole 15, so hard to hole out on, but not too bad of a birdie look oftentimes. So I really wanted to try to take a lead in this early going. Lobster did a great job on that hole 14. 15 mile an hour winds is what we're going to be dealing with here. Let's just put this one safely out there. A little bit less than my typical power on it. Just to put this one within 9 iron range. Don't want to be too far out to the left. Don't want to put it in the rough or anything like that when I'm going for this little 9 iron. 102 yards is what we're dealing with. I think with this 9 iron, we can just aim this a bit out to the right. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roughly there or so. And then give it a shot with a full backspin. Let's see. The Lobster has Looks like just missed it. Wow, that looked like a really close call. But I now have a chance to sink this for the match. It's on its way, and it's going to just miss on the right side. Kind of tough to aim that one when I couldn't use the green. You know, the green gives you that little grid, which is nice to use, but I had to aim just outside of it, and lost some of the precision there for that reason. But anyway, we'll tap it up there, and we'll head to another closest to pin on one of these holes. Let's see which one we get for the closest to pin. We've left the fate of this point up to the random number generator of the game to see what hole it wants to give us, what placement it wants to give us. Is it going to give us something weird? Is it going to give us something doable that feels like a fair judgment of the match? We'll see. 4 under to 4 under, closest to pin time. And we're hitting a tee shot from the tee here. On hole 13, 0 wind. Further back, so I don't think we can use the typical strategy. Okay, this one's interesting. Let's go 5-iron. I don't quite know the distance here and how hard we have to hit it, but let's go 5-iron. That feels pretty safe. We're definitely further back than usual, so we'll hit it with, you know, abundant power. Go for that like 3.2 or so dot power shot, and hopefully just put this one close. That looks pretty good if it doesn't zip too hard. Oh, I zipped it too hard. I zipped it past Lobster, and we are heading to a playoff. Oh, I didn't know if that spoon was going to work. You know, you leave it in the bunker and you're done. But Lobster hit a beautiful spoon, rolled it up there, and I just over-spun that wedge, and we're going to a playoff to decide this match in Resort C. So we're just playing holes 7, 8, and 9 over and over until one of us scores better than the other, and that is how we'll decide this match. 3-1, 3-0, 3-3 in the third set, and it comes down to this playoff. All right, so here we go. Hole 7, hole 8, and hole 9, back to back to back until one of us takes a lead. There is no closest to pin in this section of the match. We really had to think through the rules of this one to see if we, you know, what would happen when we got to that point. And good thing we did, because we are now here in the very first match. This is the first match of this tournament. And we have some 26-mile-an-hour winds to deal with. My goodness, what a tough little situation right away here on hole 7. Gotta hit some good shots. Tougher little pin, too. Gotta be careful here. Gotta be real, real careful. Let's see if we can do this right. Right about there. Feels pretty good. That should push a good ways to the right, but be safely in the fairway and right enough that I don't have to deal with that short little tree in my way. I think that's a good spot. I think I've left that in a very favorable spot for this second shot. Okay, I want to aim this one out to, call it there. Right up in line with that tree, actually, is right about where I want to be. So that works out pretty nicely. Let's hit it with just a little bit less than full power, right about there. We'll give it a shot. There's the shot I wanted. On its way, looking quite good. Oh, it just sneaks around the Lobster. Where does he put it? Oh, he's off the green. Towards the back there. Mine really zipped back, so I have a 21-foot side hill putt, and the Lobster has a chip. So I underpowered that maybe slightly. It's a really difficult shot, though, and it really zips back, so not my worst look at it, but could have been a little bit better. And now we have like a little 2-dot putt here, up a little side hill. I'll send it on its way. Oh, and I've overpowered it, and the Lobster has sunk it to win the match! Oh my goodness! Great game to the Lobster. Some huge, huge chips, and he's won the match. I missed a putt on hole 7, a really difficult hole 7. I mean, I hit that second shot well, and it just leaves in a bad spot sometimes. And the Lobster didn't end up in a better spot, but he made the shot, wins the match on a chip-in. What a game. Congratulations to the Lobster for moving on. The 13 seed wins over the 4 seed. Like I said in the early going, if this reminds you of United States college basketball, that's intentional. 13 wins. And that's my only video here in my own tournament format that I made. So, I mean, number 1, great game to the Lobster. Number 2, a little disappointed, but it's a chaotic, chaotic format and a great, great match. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'd like to keep playing in it, but that's the way it goes. The Lobster knocks me out. Great game.